Good afternoon, everybody. How is everyone today? It is Sunday at 2 o'clock. Very, very chilly outside. It's about 45 degrees and very cloudy. I went out for a little bit and I was freezing, so I came back in. And, oh gosh. I am kind of in a rant mood right now, which is probably not going to do anything, but at least I can get something off of my chest today. As you know, we have all been talking about this poor child, Sebastian Rogers, 15 years old, who has been missing from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee since February 26th of this year. And it's quite an interesting situation, whereas he lives with his mother and his stepfather, Chris Proudfoot. So those are the Proudfoots. Seth Rogers is his biological father. So Seth Rogers and Katie were married, and they had Sebastian. And he went missing. And as this case has come along, we have found out things about each side of the family regarding Sebastian, alright? Little tidbits keep coming out, like CPS has been to the Proudfoot's home and to Seth's home, allegedly, okay? I mean, these things come out, but they're not always authenticated, okay? Like I'm saying, there's just little tidbits that come out. And the story is that Katie and Sebastian were alone in the house the 25th, which was it a Sunday? It was a Sunday night. Sebastian was in his room. His mother was on the couch. She fell asleep. And when she woke up, she went to bed. And then in the morning, when she went to get Sebastian for school, he was not there. He could have walked out of the house. We don't know. Nobody knows what happened to Sebastian. There were ring cam cameras in the neighborhood. There were a couple of videos that came out that were very, very grainy. And there were lights of vehicles on the street at the time. Things that looked like flashlights at the time. And, of course, the general public has had their speculation about this case. The worst part is that a lot of these people are convinced that the Proudfoots have done something to Sebastian. And it did not help that Bullhorn Betty had to get involved with it once she found out about it and saw how big the story was and saw dollar signs in her eyes, for making money, because her channel has been kind of just stale lately. Not much has been going on. And so when she saw the opportunity to get into this big case, she went head first. And she has led the pack with accusing these parents. If you don't know the history of Bullhorn Betty, this is her MO in every single case that she has covered. Anytime she has covered a missing child case, the first place she goes to are the parents. The first thing she does is accuse the parents of doing something to their child. Case after case after case, she has done this. She did it with Summer Wells. She's did it with Michael Vaughn. She's done it with, oh, what was that little girl's name? Montgomery. There was a little girl that went missing. And, of course, she went right ahead and started accusing family members of doing something to her. The little girl was found in a river, unfortunately. And somebody, not even a family member, had done this to her. So this is what she does all the time. Okay? She accuses, she harasses, she goes to the towns where these cases have happened, and she inserts herself. And she, what's the word? She hinders investigations by acting like an investigator. She goes around town, she interviews people, she interviews police. She just thinks that she's some big investigative reporter / journalist, that she's going to solve these cases and she's going to, figure out what happened, because all of the time in all of these cases, law enforcement has no idea what they're doing. She always says that. Okay. In Sebastian Rogers' case, same thing. Accusing the Proudfoots daily, every single day, accusing them. They are in the military. She has made statements that they are in the military. They know how to unalive people. They know how to hide bodies. She has slandered them. She went to their town. She went to their house. She went to their campsite. She went to Chris's job place and talked to people in all of these places. She has had her subs spy on them for her, where they live in Hendersonville. There are people in Tennessee that she knows that have gone out and done their own little investigating and their own little spying. All right? All of this is harassment and stalking. All of it. All right? So her whole little group, and a couple of people on YouTube, but Bullhorn Betty's group is by far the worst group attacking this family and being on the side of the biological father, who has his own demons and his own little vendetta against his ex-wife, who, this is how he feels. And Betty has aligned herself with the biological father, and as a result, she has taken on his feelings about the case and has convinced herself and everybody else that Katie and Chris did something to Sebastian. Now, the thing that's really making me mad about all of this is that all of these people are accusing these parents of not doing anything to find Sebastian. And my question is this: how do you know? You do not know what is going on in this case. You don't know what Chris and Katie are doing. You are just making assumptions because they are not publicly broadcasting themselves looking for Sebastian. They are not publicly out there begging somebody to find their children. Yeah, a lot of parents do that. They do go on news and the TV begging people to help them. So people are very suspicious of that behavior. Fine, be suspicious, but quit this God-blessed act of accusing these parents in every single video that is made about them. They know where he is because they did something to him. And then when you try to reason with these people, they just come right back at you. Why are you supporting these child killers? You don't know that. He could have walked out the door. He could have met somebody online. He was doing online games in his father's house. All right. Now, Sebastian has autism. All right. I don't think, from what I've heard, he's not severely autistic. He does go to public school, so I don't think he is one of those children who really can't communicate, and don't talk and things like that. He goes online and plays games. He goes to school, and we all know that there are predators online. Anything could have happened to him. He could have walked out the door to meet somebody, and they could have taken him away. He could have been abducted. We don't know. And it's not fair to constantly accuse families just because you think they aren't doing what they need to do to find him. This is my point. Why is everybody so mean and so convinced, all right, that they have done this? Now, thanks to Bullhorn Betty and all of her antics, everything she has done has gone over the line of reporting. All right. Legitimate true crime channels report on crimes like this. They don't go out there and they don't go and try to find answers because it is not their job. They know it's not their job. It's the job of law enforcement and professional investigators to do things like this. Reporters on TV, they don't go out into the field and go into the woods to try and find people. That's not their job. But Bullhorn Betty thinks it's her job to do this. She calls it a job. But YouTube is not a job. YouTube is not guaranteed. And she's convinced everybody that she is this angel of true crime because she's out there trying to find children. Half the time she doesn't even go physically to look for them. She may go physically into the woods for maybe a half an hour or an hour. She did that one time in one case where a little boy was missing, and he was actually found by a veteran who was in the woods looking for him, and the veteran found him. And then later on, Bullhorn Betty says, "We found him." She just wants the notoriety. She wants the attention. It's crazy. And my point today is people need to stop doing this. People need to stop making up their minds that certain people are responsible for unaliving their children. It is so wrong, and I don't understand why some people just can't get it in their heads that that's wrong to do. And you need to stop making assumptions because you don't know what is going on behind the scenes. You are not there in Hendersonville. You don't see Katie and Chris every day and see what they are doing. You don't. So that's my rant for today. I'm just sick of it. I wish people would just stop, and they won't because Bullhorn Betty has brainwashed her cult. I call them the cult because they have the same brainwaves that she does as far as these cases are concerned. To them, she is the angel of missing children, and she's not. And because of that, they trust her implicitly. They praise her all the time. "Oh my God, you are so great. You do so much for the children." And she never has. All she ever does is hinder investigations and harass family members. Now, As you know, she's got 4 protective orders against her now from this family because of her actions. Because of her going to their town. Because of her having her subs spy on them. She knows when they're in church. She knows who they are. She knows where they are. And it's none of her business. And because of this, they put the protective orders against her. Not because everybody's saying they've done it because they don't want her to find out any information. Excuse me. They all say it's because the parents don't want her finding out any information. And they're shutting her up with these protective orders to protect themselves. Who knows? It could be true, it could not be true, but it's not our place to say that. Right? It's not our place. She went to court. What was it, Thursday? For the 4th protection order for Chris Proudfoot. It was actually a temporary protective order until Thursday, when Betty had to go into court. The whole family went into court. Everybody testified. They showed a video, a 9-minute video of clips of Betty and everything she has said about this family, everything she has done to this family. She followed the grandfather out of a shopping mall, jumped out of her car and ran over to him and screamed at him. All of that is over the line, and that is why they got a protective order against her. His was made permanent on Thursday, so now she has 4 permanent protective orders for them. She's gone to jail because she violated it. She's been violating it daily since she got out of jail, and daily since the court date on Thursday. The judge explicitly said to her, "You are not to talk about this family anymore. They do not exist in your world anymore. Nothing on social media, emails, voicemails, everything. They don't exist to you." And yet, she's still doing it. She's still talking about them. She's still talking about Sebastian. And on her November 20th court date for the criminal side of this, I wouldn't be surprised if she is sentenced to jail. Because she's got 4 violations right now, or is it 6? She's got 6 violations of those protective orders. And so if she keeps it up, she's going to jail. And it's very possible that she's already going to jail. Because from what I understand, the typical punishment for protective orders is, it could be up to a year in prison, but it might just be 10 days. I can't see her not going to jail over this. I could be wrong. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a judge. But to me, it's obvious because she does not stop. So we will just have to wait and see until November 20th. But at this point, people need to stop. You know, I know they won't, but in my opinion, I think they do. I think people need to sit back. Even if you do have the few brain cells that Betty has, I'm sorry, that's how I feel about it. It's my opinion. And my opinion is that her audience is just as bad as her because they support her. The rest of us know that we don't know what's going on in Hendersonville, and we do not have a right to be accusing parents of anything. It's not our job. It's not Betty's job. Only law enforcement and professional people should be dealing with this case. Period. Everybody have a good day.